I was invited to my wife's cousin's Indonesian Muslim wedding, referred as nikah in Islamic terminology. The bride and groom rented a special venue typically used for such events. We arrived at noon, and many family members were just starting to prepare with makeup and getting dressed. In Indonesia, it is customary to invite a large number of guests to weddings, sometimes ranging from hundreds to thousands. However, not all invitees stay for long. Many come for about half an hour to congratulate the couple, eat, and then leave. Guests often give money or household items to the newlyweds, which can provide significant support in the early stages of their married life. The wedding ceremony had two parts: the akad, which is the Islamic marriage contract, and the reception. In Indonesia, the celebrant, known as the penghulu, can be invited to the wedding venue, so they can sign the marriage documents immediately after the akad. My wife's cousin invited only close friends and family members to the akad, while the reception in the evening included more guests, such as extended family, family friends, and colleagues. In Russia, where I am from, it was to be normal to invite many relatives to a wedding. But in modern times, this tradition has diminished. Nowadays, Russians often prefer to hold weddings with only their closest relatives. The venue was styled according to the American aesthetics of the 50s. I first went to the second floor, which was set up as a dressing room, to put on my suit. All the men in the bride's family wore black Javanese-style suits, while the female family members wore modern grey kibayas. Kibaya is traditional Indonesian clothing for women. The bride and groom wore modern white Javanese-style attire for the akad, and the Western-style outfits for the reception. The second floor was bustling with women assisting with clothing and makeup, while some men rested on sofas where it was cooler indoors. Not wanting to stay too long, I decided to take a walk outside. Honestly, in this jacket I feel myself like an anime character, and it is not comfortable because it's pretty hot. This whole place, with different plots and buildings, was made for different ceremonies and celebratings, so people can come here and rent this place for a certain time. And I really like the aesthetic because it is made in 50s style. There are many old American and European cars here, such as Ford, Skoda, Fiat, and even Hillman, the brand that ceased to exist at the beginning of the last century. They are not in the best condition. I don't know if the engines are still inside or if all the insides of the hoods were pulled out, but the interiors of these cars are very dusty and full of garbage. In any case, it's pretty cool that they were put on public display as museum pieces. These cars smells like rusty iron and old tires, and it absorbs me into some kind of nostalgia to the time I've never been. The time for the ceremony began to approach and the guests started to gather in the main hall. Many took the opportunity to take pictures under the arch of flowers where the bride would pass. The family lined up to welcome the groom and his family to the place for the Islamic marriage contract. The groom and the bride's father were the first to go to the table to do the marriage contract, witnessed by two men from the family and the penghulu, marriage celebrant. The groom also mentioned the dowry he was giving to the bride during the contract.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله لا نبي بعده أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. Silakan Bapak Haji Ibrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna fi dzalika laayatin liqaumin yatafakkarun. Shadaqallahul adzim.
After the groom and the bride's father completed the Islamic marriage contract, the bride came to the venue to meet her newlywed husband and sign the marriage documents. At this point, the official part was completed and we all went together to take photos. So the ceremony passed and we are going to the main ritual now, to eat food. A full dinner was planned for the late evening, so snacks were prepared for us in the courtyard to prevent hunger. I got myself coffee, meatball soup and sweet cake. By the way, in Indonesia, takeaway drinks are always vacuum sealed. I have never seen anything like this in any European country. Can you explain me what is this?
This is like tofu, and then this is like kind of like dumpling, but we fry the dumpling, so it looks like that. Fried dumpling.
As it gradually began to get dark, the waiters started preparing everything necessary for dinner and welcoming a new batch of guests. In the evening, the second event, which was the wedding reception, began. Guests had already started arriving even before the event officially started. The groom's and bride's families were asked to line up and stand behind the couple to enter the hall where the reception was being held. Accompanied by fireworks, we walked behind the bride and groom and entered the building. The couple and their parents stood on the podium to greet guests who came to congratulate them. Usually, they don't get the chance to enjoy the dinner because they must stand there throughout the event, until it ends and all the guests have finished offering their congratulations. Fortunately, other family members, aside from the parents of the bride and groom, are allowed to engage in other activities like chatting and dining. I was told that in Indonesian culture, invited guests arrive on time for weddings, because if they come late, the food might run out. This is because invited guests often bring many family members or even their friends to enjoy the meal, so the number of guests often exceeds expectations. Unlike Western weddings where the number of guests matches the number of invitations, there is no restriction on the number of people the invited guests can bring to an Indonesian wedding. Goat and chicken satay were the favorite dishes at this wedding, so many people queued from the beginning of the event. I tried the chicken satay, chicken with sweet soy sauce and dim sum. I really liked Indonesian satay, which is grilled chicken with peanut sauce. The meat is tender and quite similar to Middle Eastern kebabs, except the seasoning is different. While the bride and groom and their parents continued to stand for photos and greet guests, guests were busy chatting and eating. Indonesian weddings, due to the large number of guests, often serve as a reunion for extended family members. In Indonesia, not only close family but also distant relatives like aunts and cousins from the parents' sides of the bride and groom are usually invited. This provides an opportunity to reconnect and catch up with distant family members. As the night grew late and the event ended, we sat and chatted outside under the street lights for a while as we waited for a taxi to return to the hotel. It was quite interesting and unique experience that will remain in my memory for a long time.